everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am going to be playing my first game of Morkin. In the last video I made my character. You'll probably want to go back and watch that if you didn't. Made my character up, and you may notice that I have flagged with these little tape pieces. I've got the book divided up into the various sections. The first tab is called Flow, and it's basically the flow of the game. This is a very procedural game, so even though it's a fantasy RPG and it is solo, there is a track you follow in order to do what you're going to do. The day is broken up into 4 pieces, so being that this is my first video, you're going to have to bear with me because I don't quite know how this game is going to flow. So this first video is just going to sort of be me getting my feet wet and trying to figure out the best way to do future videos. So let's just go ahead and learn this together and see what happens. Now it says the flow of play. It says you have 30 days. 30 days to complete your mission. So for now, I'm going to put day 1 on here. And there are a set of things you do each day. The first thing you do is you check the weather. And there is a table for that. So on page 34, you roll a d10. Roll a d10, and it will tell you what the weather is. I rolled a 2. 2 is clear. Now, what I'm thinking I'm going to do, because this is like a journaling game, I want to take basic notes and then go back after this session and sort of maybe write up a small, journal entry for Morkin, my hero. So I'm going to take these things down because they will help. Now for a 2, it says the weather is clear, and it says you get a +10 to orientation and +10 to camp. Okay, that sounds good. I like that. The second thing you do is you check group conditions. Now, at the start of this game, I have no allies and I have no conditions. I'm not hungry, exhausted, poisoned, or bleeding. So conditions are none. Okay, step number 3, you check the ice fear level. Now, the ice fear level can be one of 3 values. It can be a 1, a 2, or a 3. And this number will play into certain roles in the game. And basically, ice fear level is this magical anxiety that's hanging over the world. And it's caused from the evil wizard that you're trying to defeat. And as time gets closer to that 30-day mark, the magic grows stronger. So it's going to be a negative. But when it first starts out, it's just 1. Then it says you start a new quarter. Now, here's how it works. There are 4 quarters. There is the morning. There is the afternoon. There is the evening. And the night. 4 quarters, and during each quarter, you can do an action. It says you may choose only 1 action per quarter of the day. You can mark that action you perform each quarter of the day on your adventure sheet. I'm using a journal. And then it says for the final quarter, night, you may choose any action except rest, though the most common is camp, as it involves sleeping and recovering health and fatigue. So I'll probably do that because I get a bonus of +10 camp. It says if you choose any other action, you may choose any action that, though the most common is camp. If you choose any other action, you will incur a -10 penalty on all skills and gain an additional +5 fatigue for not sleeping. So rest is probably, or camp is probably the one you want. Rest is not available at night. It's a daytime thing. It's like if you're wounded and you need health or whatever. All right, so camp assumes rest. So for the actions I can do, here's what I can do. I can approach only when a recruitable character is present. I can camp. I can fish only at lakes, forage only outdoors, Hunt, only outdoors. Rest, not available at night. Seek, only at a site. And I can travel. So seek is interesting because on this map, I start down here at 1 at the Tower of the Moon. Now, if it's numbered, and there are numbered things on this map, like here's 6, Ruins of Koroth, and here's 7, Moonhenge. 12 up here is the Tower of Doom. That's the one I'm moving towards. And you may not be able to see it very well, but this is gridded. It's a 6-sided, what is that, hexagons that I can travel along. And so because I'm at the Tower of the Moon and it's numbered, that is an actual location. And so I can actually look that up by doing a seek only at a site. So let me turn to seek. So when at a site, you can use the seek action to discover hidden objects, magical advantages, quests, guides, or help in various locations, such as villages, keeps, citadels, ruins, caverns, and snow halls. Roll on the seek table to see what you find. If you're in a snow hall, ruin, or cavern, follow the exploration rules. There's some later rules for that. You can only perform the seek action once per site. So I am at a site. I am at the Tower of the Moon. So it says I can go to the seek tables, and I've labeled the tables back here. So let's go and see the seek tables. There's a camping table. There's an encounter, events, fishing, forage, potions, ruins, seek. Some of these events or quests here are thought to happen just once. So if you get any of them again, just ignore it or roll again. Now it depends. If you're at a tower, a citadel or keep, or village, there's three columns. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a d10. It says to roll a d10. And I'm looking at the tower because I'm at the Tower of the Moon. I rolled a 6. And I'm going to write that in. I'm going to go for the morning. I'm doing a seek 6. And on page 266, a seek action says, a voice calls, Far Flame the Dragon Lord can destroy the Ice Crown. Ooh. Far Flame the Dragon Lord can destroy. Now, by the way, the object of this game is to get to the Tower of Doom and destroy the Ice Crown. Can destroy Ice Crown. That seems to be like a very good bit of information to know. It also says, you gain Healer's Touch. For the remainder of the day and the entirety of the following day, add plus 10 to your first aid skill. So I get plus 10 first aid today and tomorrow. All right. That's it. Plus 10. All right, the seek is done. Now, I need to get moving. All right, so the way you move in this game is you move a certain distance of hexagons, and it's based on the terrain, and you also are making certain rolls. So let's do a travel, and I'm going to turn to the travel tab. And for travel, it says you can travel by attempting to move to a hexagon adjacent to your current location. Before advancing, keep the following in mind. If you're exhausted, you can't travel. I'm not exhausted. Travel distance is measured in the number of hexes you can traverse in a single quarter of the day, depending on the terrain. If you have a horse, I know you can travel faster. If even one companion lacks which you are starting to travel, and whether or not I think I start with a horse. I could be wrong. I think I do. If one companion lacks a horse, the entire group will travel at the lower walking distance. All right, so let me look over here. It says you do not need to use all your available movement, so you could choose to stop even though you could keep going. Already explored hexes, you can return to them, but it says you do not need to take an orientation check. When leaving it to move to an adjacent hex, you do not need to make it. Orientation. Whenever you wish to leave a hex, you must succeed on an orientation skill check. Ensure you take into account any adjustments, which I do have, Okay, so if you fail the check, it can send you on another direction. So you pick your target, which is forward. So whatever hex you pick your target, and you roll a die. And 1 to 2, you go to the left, 3 to 4 straight, and 5 to 6 to the right. That's if you fail your orientation check. Because if you fail it, you could still end up going in the right direction. That's pretty cool. And then you have consequences when the orientation is failed. Okay, so the question I have is, when you enter a new hexagon, even if you've explored it, you need to determine the following. There might be an encounter. Okay, so let's go through this step by step. Remember, I'm trying to travel northeast. So I want to go in that direction. Now, there's a ruin here called the Keep of Blood. There are small village symbols and things like that that don't have a name. But the numbered ones would be cool. Now, no matter where I go, it looks like I'm going to be traveling through mountains. And I don't know what all these symbols mean on the map, which, luckily for me, I have some guide documents here that were provided to me. Let me see if I can find the map stuff. Okay, I don't see it in there. I know that I think I saw it in the book. Let me flip to the back of the book because I remember seeing something about the map and how to read it. All right, here we go, maps. All right, so that's interesting. I know that there was terrain indicated in here. Let me see if I can find it again. Here it is. All right, these are icons for the different sites that you can go to. The terrain, there are 5 different types. There are plains, flat expanse, that's the blank. There are mountains, I can tell what mountains are. Forests, I can tell what forests are. Downs, gently rolling hills, I can see those. And frozen wastes. What would frozen wastes look like? I don't know. Frozen wastes. Frozen wastes surrounding midnight. These barren lands are impassable. Oh, okay. So I guess that just defines surrounding midnight. These barren lands are impassable. Well, that's interesting. Okay. I guess as long as you stay on the map, you're okay. I'm going to check with Juan, the game's creator, on that. But that would normally mean there's really only 4 types of terrain here. I see the mountains, I see the hills, I see the plains, and I see the forests. So forest, mountain, plains, and hills. Okay. So looking at the map, to get out of the tower, I'm going to have to go through some forests. Now the question is, do I want to go north? Do I want to go northwest? Because there's a passage through the mountains here and another one here. There's a tower here. Towers are helpful. They're magic. So maybe I want to there's some keeps and ruins along the way. Let's have some fun with it. There's a ruin and a keep this direction. So let's do it. So I'm going to be traveling first. There's a plain and then there's 1, 2, 3. Well, there's a 2 here. That would mean that is actually something to look up. That would be a forest, I think. Hold on. Tower of the Moon, 1. I am pretty sure it said that for certain numbered ones, a site. Okay. Special sites. Here it is. Number 1, Tower of the Moon. Your adventure begins here. Number 2, a place in the Forest of Shadows. Oh, okay. When you reach any of these locations, consult the special sites table to determine what is happening there. So I should have rolled on the special sites table. Let's do that. And I think these were in alphabetical order. Street. Special sites table. Okay. So I'm on 2. I'm on 1. Tower of the Moon. Okay, so I'm supposed to have read this. You find yourself within the ancient Tower of the Moon, deep in the Forest of Shadows, where the Council of the Wise has gathered in a final stand against Doomdark. Doomdark is the name of the evil wizard. With you are Luxor the Moon Prince, Rorthron the Wise, and Corlith the Fae. Their mission is to rally the armies and defend the lands from Doomdark's advancing forces. Your path, however, is different. As one untouched by the Ice Sphere, you are tasked with journeying north alone to find and destroy the Ice Crown, the source of Doomdark's power and Midnight's eternal winter. The fate of the realm rests on your shoulders. Okay. All right, so I've got to decide where I'm going to go. So the forest is actually a location. And it's a numbered, so if I go to that spot, I could avoid it, but I could go through it. I don't know what's going to happen if I go through it. Probably a monster or an encounter of some sort. But let's do it anyway, because this is supposed to be fun. There's a lot of ruins and things that are going. I'm not going to go this way and up. Instead, I'm going to go straight up and then over. So I need to move into this plain text, or plain hex here. And to do that, I have to do an orientation check. So, is the number of hexes... Okay, so planes, it says planes. You can move 2 hexes per quarter of the day. On horse, you can move 3 hexes, but there's only 1 hex. So maybe... So I can really only move 1. And that would be it for the move, because once I enter the the forest, 2 hexes, so I can go in. All right, so when you wish to leave a hexagon, you must succeed. All right, so I'm going to leave this hexagon and move here. So my target is there, and it says you make an orientation check. Ensure you take into account the weather, and terrain. For example, if the weather is clear and you're in the plains, which I am, you gain a plus 30. Okay, so orientation, weather, plus 10, plus 20 if you're in the plains. So to move here, I'm getting plus 30. And remember, I get the plus 10 for because it's clear, so plus 30. And I also, my character sheet has orientation. I had a plus 20 bonus. So 30 plus 20 is 50, plus 40 is 90. So I've got to roll below a 90 just to get out of this hex in the right direction. I think I can do that. So I have a D10 here that has the 10s and the 1s. And I rolled a 65. So I successfully, on the afternoon, I'm going to do a travel. And I rolled a... I'm going to have to figure out how... I don't want to mark up this map. So what I may do is make a digital copy of this and include it in the video, at the end of each video, so you can see the path I'm going. So I'm just going to... I may photocopy this so I will have something to write on. But right now, I don't want to do that because I don't want to write on the original. So I'm just going to track it. I will use a little yellow thing here to indicate that I am successfully moved here. And do you do that? Oh, it's for each hex. So I'm going to go there. Let's get something. And then I'm going to move into the forest. The forest, I lose the 20, but I still get the plus 10. So I'm rolling at 40 plus 20 is 60, plus 10 is 70. So let's see if I get a 70 or below. I rolled a 93, so no, I failed it. Then it says you roll a d6 to determine if you go to the left or the right. I rolled a 2, so instead of going there, I went here. Okay. Then it says if you fumble, you become lost for the remainder of the quarter. If you fumble the orientation. Oh, you roll 100. I did not roll 100. Unable to move, and you gain 4 points of fatigue. Additionally, roll a d10. If you roll 1, you will have an encounter. Okay. Whenever Morkin successfully travels to a new hex, you may need to add fatigue depending on terrain type and whether Morkin is traveling on foot or horseback. The rule applies. The only exception is if an orientation roll is required. All right. So new hex was plains or forest. Morkin travels on foot. I got 1 fatigue. So I will put plus 1 fatigue for that travel. Okay. When he enters a hex around, okay, didn't do that. Encounter. When you enter a new hex, even if you explored it, you need to determine the following. Doom Dark Forces. Depending on the ice level fear, the chances will vary. On an ice fear of 1, no Doom Dark encounter, no need to roll. So you're only going to have to worry about that when ice fear goes to 2. If you're at a special site, consult the special site table. If you are not at a special site or regular site, and there was no Doom Dark encounter, roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, an event occurs. So roll a d6 on a 1 or 2. I rolled a 2, so we will have an event. And it says roll on the events table and refer to the terrain type. So events, that's a table, right? Yep. So go to the table, events. Events, okay. Now the events in this book are sort of like a choose your own adventure. First you're going to roll on this table and it's going to tell you which event number to go and consult in the rule book. The first thing you do is you roll 2 d6s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll 2 colored dice, a green and a red. Green will be the first digit, red will be the second digit. And I am in the forest, so there's a forest column. So I rolled a 1, 3, and I go down to 13, and I go over to forest, and it's event number 74. So I will write that in here, event 74. And the events are in numerical order. They start on page 68, and I'm going to event 74. All right, here we go. It's on page 100, event 74. The forest protects you. As you venture deeper into the forest, you feel a profound sense of connection to the land around you. Being half fae, this place resonates with something deep within your soul. The whisper of the wind through the trees feels like a gentle greeting, and the rustling leaves seem to echo with a language only you can understand. While you remain within this forest, you know that the forest watches over you, guiding your steps and sheltering you from harm. During your time here, all orientation and camp rolls automatically succeed. Boom! That's nice. All right. All orientation and camp succeed. I'm going to read that one more time. Yep. All orientation and camp rolls automatically succeed. So that was the afternoon. Let's do evening. Let's keep traveling. Since I don't have to roll orientation rolls, now I can get to that 2 spot. To do that, I can move 2 hexes through the forest. So I'll move here. I don't have to do an orientation roll. So I'm doing another travel. And I get the fatigue, right? I do get that. Let me just double check that. I'll make sure I'm doing it right. So when you do travel, when you travel to a new hex, you may need to add fatigue. And I'm traveling through the forest, so I do get 1. So I'm +1 fatigue. And basically, fatigue is when, I'll have to look it up, but there's when you hit a certain level of fatigue, bad things start to happen. So I moved there and I got 1 fatigue, and now I'm going to move here, and I have arrived at location number 2, or site number 2. I get a fatigue, and that's the end of the evening. But because I arrived at 2, I got to go read that site event or table. Tables. Seek tables. It was special, wasn't it? Special sites. Number 2. Forest of Shadows, home of the Lord of Shadows. That doesn't sound good. Here you meet the Lord of Shadows, a loyal ally to the Fae. Okay. Site number 2, Lord of Shadows. Eager to assist. Lord of Shadows doesn't have a horse, so he travels by foot. Follow the companion's rule. So I have a companion now. So I have a companion. And he's Lord of the Shadows? I'll have to look. I forget the rules about this, but I will have to look it up. The good news is it is now night. So that will give me time to go and read the rules on companions and also check on the fatigue. Let's do a camp. So I go back to the camp for the final action. And remember, I automatically succeed at it because of that one lucky roll I got. Camping. You can only camp at night, which also involves performing a camp skill check. If successful, all members recover D6 plus 2 health and D6 fatigue. I am at 1, 2, 3 fatigue. Roll a D6, fatigue. 4. So minus 4 fatigue, so I'm at 0. If you score a critical success, which I didn't, that would be, I think, 100? I'll have to look that up. If you score a critical success, recover is D10 hit points and D6 fatigue. Okay, well, same thing. If you fail, roll on the camping trouble table. Well, I didn't fail it. If you are in a Citadel Keep, Snowhawk Village, you do not need to roll for the camp. You and your companions recover 10 health and fatigue to 0. However, if you're in a village, there will be a cost. Accommodations in a village includes an evening meal, so no rations are needed as they are provided. So I am going to lose rations probably. Camp skill check. Automatically succeed. Each member recovers D6 plus 2 and D6, but it doesn't say anything about food. I am pretty sure I have rations. I have 5 rations, so I'll need to look up how rations work. I think it's something like maybe 1 per day. I'll look it up rather than just make the assumption. It's got a great table of contents too, so I'm hoping that maybe I can find something in here about rations. And probably not. Quarters of the day, approach camp, blah, 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 companions. Well, there is a companion section on page 54. I'll go read that. But I don't see anything about rations, but I am for certain it's in here. I'll just have to find it. All right, everybody. I try to keep these videos under 30 minutes. I'm hoping I'll get faster at this as time goes on. But that is day 1. And I ended up, so at end of day 1, I am at site number 2. And I am rested and ready to go. So questions that I will need to answer before the next video are a companion, who that is, how do I find his stats, rations. I'll look those up and I'll know the answer for next time. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'll write up a small journal entry that sort of summarizes the actions for the day. It wasn't really all that eventful, or maybe it was, I don't know. And I'll append that at the end of each video. And maybe I'll create a PDF document that collects it for my, just for my gaming history. All right, there you go. That is Morkin, the Lords of Midnight solo adventure game. It is written by Juan, let me get his name right, Juan Diaz Bustamante. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm trying to do the Spanish letters. Diaz Bustamante. Thank you, Juan. I'm really enjoying this. I'll be back very soon with the next episode. This is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Until then, everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.